So, I wanted to touch on the subject of imposter syndrome. And, the reason I wanted to do that is because I think that's something that we all deal with in life. Feeling like we can't speak on something because we haven't really truly succeeded in it yet. And I think to an extent that's right. Like, you don't want to go around giving willy nilly advice on a subject you really haven't proven you gotten results in. But I think it's also important to let your light shine if you've been putting in the work, even though you haven't gotten the results you're seeking yet. The reason I say that is because we never know who we can inspire. We never know who needs to hear our message. Even though you may not have gotten that physique you want or achieved the level of success you may want to achieve in your business yet, or achieve that level of spiritual enlightenment or understanding that you wanted to achieve yet, if you see that you've made some progress, I think you're still qualified to share your experience. You might be 5 steps ahead in a journey of 100 steps. But there's people that's behind us that haven't even taken that first step yet. And though you may not have reached 80 steps or 100 steps in that journey to complete it, your 5 steps that you've taken can really inspire somebody to take that first step. I like to lighten, or I should say, use the analogy of a light. Just because your light may be like a little spark, you should still use that little bit of light and let it shine, and use that spark to ignite somebody else's fuse. And at some point, as long as you don't keep that spark of yours covered, that can grow into potentially like a wildfire. But I think a lot of the times, because we don't have the results we want, or maybe because we're comparing ourselves to people who are farther ahead of us in the journey, we cover our spark, we cover our light, and we hide. We hide from our true potential. We hide our results that we have achieved because we don't want to get ridiculed or made fun of by people who might be farther than us, or even by people who are behind us, because a lot of the times people who haven't even started are usually the quickest to ridicule those who have taken the first few steps. But from my experience, I'm here to say, don't hide that light that you have. Let it shine, because once again, that little spark can turn into a wildfire. And also, it can be used to ignite somebody else's light. It's hard to not feel like an imposter. Even now, me speaking, I had to essentially tell myself, it's like, you can talk, you can share your experience. You've been trying to improve. You've been working on your character. And though you may not be considered some guru or whatever, you have some value to add to somebody else's light. You're qualified to speak and share your experience. I'm not a millionaire yet, but there's certain achievements I've had in certain areas that have, netted me some good profits. I'm not I don't have a 6-pack yet or the physique that I completely want yet, but I have been consistent in waking up and putting in the work, going to the gym. I've seen some gains and some weight loss, and I'm not wouldn't preach about how to be a millionaire or how to get a 6-pack, but I can talk about waking up and putting in the work and being consistent until those results manifest. So hopefully, as I speak on these things and I do it consistently, and you guys see my own journey, it can inspire somebody else. Because I feel like right now, me personally, where I'm at, I'm just at that spark phase. At 33 years old, I've got that spark finally lit. And I think in my life, I've always wanted to inspire people. But I've hid myself, I've hid what I've wanted to say because I've never really had the results. And quite frankly, I've never really had the consistency, which is why I've never had results. But it's like what Greg Plitt said, rest in peace to him. There comes a point in your life where you just get tired of mediocrity and it just burns your soul and you just can't take being average no more. And once you get to that point, there's no looking back, you know. Something that spark ignites and you just start putting in the work. You start taking the small steps, you know, to make that change in your life, to get out of that trap of mediocrity. And once you've taken those first few steps, once again, there's no looking back. And it doesn't make you a pro, it doesn't make you a guru, but it does make you qualified to tell other people who haven't taken those few steps that you can take those steps too. I've done it and I'm doing it and I'm going to keep doing it. And you don't need to feel like an imposter for that. I think when you can truly feel like an imposter when you're speaking on something is if you started taking those steps, but you stopped. Once you stop, I don't feel like you should really speak on it. Once you've quit, I don't think you should speak on anything. I don't think you've truly become a failure until you've quit. Because fact of the matter is, failure is inevitable. Like, we're all going to fail at whatever we're doing, whether it's real estate or working out or trying to become a straight A student or whatever the case may be. We're all going to have failures. We're all going to have setbacks in life. But you don't truly become a failure until you quit. And as cliche as that sounds, a lot of people hear this information or have heard what I'm saying before from other people, and it goes right over their heads. I know it went over my head for a long time, you know. I would start something, I would stop something, I would start something, I would stop something. And I feel like every time I stopped is when I truly failed, you know. But I'm at a point in my life where mediocrity, I can't do it no more, you know. And I'm here to say that I'm going to work to make my life a testament to inspire others. And I'm not going to feel like an imposter about it. And I pray that those of you who have taken the steps or are taking the steps to go into a more positive direction, that you won't feel like an imposter. And even if you do, you speak on your experience so that your light, your light, your spark can light somebody else's fuse. And together we can, you know, make this world a better place by inspiring one another to be their best selves, regardless of what stage of the journey we're at. So that's all I got today. It's a light one, but you know, we all feel like an imposters at times, but as long as you're putting in the work in and you're making progress, don't be afraid to speak on your journey and your progress. You're qualified. Your voice matters. Peace out.